Members, the next order of business will be file item 28. Senator Hueso, are you prepared to bring your bill forward? Senator Hueso, would you like to bring your bill forward? Yes. Secretary, please read.
Senate Bill 189 by Senator Hueso and acrolein to clean energy development.
Senator Hueso.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senators, SB 189 would create the Committee on Maximizing Jobs and Economic Growth. This committee, which will consist of experts in the fields of economics, finance, and policy, will advise state agencies tasked with implementing greenhouse gas emission reduction goals and energy efficiency policies. The goal of this committee is to ensure that there's a focus on job creation as California works toward making our environment healthier. Research shows that clean energy and climate change policies also have a major economic component. California is the location of over 40,000 businesses serving advanced energy markets. It is important to continue on this job creation path and capitalize on the economic potential with the help of experts in the field. SB 189 will ensure that the state moves forward with the clean energy goals that we have and greenhouse gas-related policies, and that our job market continues to thrive and lead the nation, and that the state's economy continues to grow and one day become the 6th largest economy in the world. I respectfully ask for your I vote today.
Thank you, Senator Hueso. Members, any debate or discussion? Seeing none, Secretary, please call the roll.
Allen, Anderson, Bates, No, Bell, Berryhill, Block, Canella, De Leon, Fuller, no, Gaines,
No.
no, Galgiani, Glazer, I, Hall, I, Hancock, Hernandez, I, Hertzberg, Hill, I, Hueso, I, Huff, Jackson, Lada, Leno, Liu, Leyva, I, McGuire, Mendoza, Mitchell, Monning, I, Morlock, no, Morrell, Wynn, no, Nielsen, Pan, I, Pavley, I, Roth, I, Runner, no, Stone, no, Vidak, no, Wachowski, I, Wolk. Aye.
Secretary, please call the roll.
Anderson, no. Allen, I, Bell, I, Berryhill, Block, I, Canella, De Leon, Galgiani, Hancock, Hertzberg, I, Huff, Jackson, I, Lada, Leno, Liu, McGuire, I, Mendoza, I, Mitchell, I, Morrell, no, Nielsen.
Secretary, please call the roll.
Berryhill, Canella, De Leon, Galgiani, Hancock, Huff, Lada, Leno, Liu, Nielsen.
Secretary, please call the roll.
Berryhill, no. Canella, no. De Leon, Galgiani, Hancock, Huff, Lada, Leno, Liu, Nielsen.
Secretary, please call the roll.
De Leon, Galgiani, Hancock, Huff, Lada, Leno, Liu, De Leon, I, Galgiani, Hancock, Huff, Lotta, Leno, Liu, Nilsson.
Senator Hueso moves the call. Members, we will move forward to file item 56. Senator Bell, are you prepared to bring this measure forward? Secretary, please read.
Senate Bill 9 by Senator Bell, an act relating to transportation and making appropriation therefore.
Senator Bell.
Mr. President, members, SB 9 seeks to ensure that the cap-and-trade funding is invested responsibly in projects that maximize greenhouse gas emissions and meet the goals of AB 32. This bill models the Transit and Intercity Rail Capital Program after the federal New Starts, Small Starts program, establishing categories for both large and small projects, but focusing the program on transformative projects that will reduce greenhouse gas emissions. Now, getting people out of their car and into public transportation makes the most sense about where we should invest cap-and-trade dollars. Transportation-related greenhouse gases account for 40% of the emissions. These types of projects are multi-year effort and require a level of financial certainty for the operators to plan. The bill allows multi-year funding agreements to address this issue, and it has bipartisan support. I urge an aye vote on this measure.
Thank you, Senator Bell. Members, any debate or discussion? Members, any objection to unanimous? Oh, we do not have that yet. Okay. Roll call vote, Secretary.
Allen. Aye. Anderson. Bates. Aye. Bell. Aye. Berryhill. Aye. Block. Aye. Canella. Aye. De Leon. Fuller. Gaines. Aye. Galgiani. Aye. Glazer. Aye. Hall. Aye. Hancock. Hernandez. Aye. Hertzberg. Aye. Hill. Aye. Hueso. Aye. Huff. Jackson. Aye. Lotta. Leno. Leyva. Aye. Liu. Aye. McGuire. Aye. Mendoza. Aye. Mitchell. Aye. Monning. Aye. Morlock. Morrell. Wynn. Aye. Nilsson. Pan. Pavley. Aye. Roth. Aye. Runner. Aye. Stone. Aye. Vidak. Aye. Wachowski. Aye. Wolk. Wolk, aye.
Secretary, please call the absent members.
Anderson, aye. De Leon. Fuller. Aye. Hancock. Huff. Lotta. Leno. Morlock. Aye. Morrell. Aye. Nilsson. Pan.
Ayes 33, noes 0. Measure passes. Members, let's now move forward to file item 62. Senator Wachowski. Secretary, please read.
Senate Bill 246 by Senator Wachowski, an act relating to environmental protection.
Senator Wachowski.
Mr. President, I'm proud to present SB 246, which is part of the California Climate Leadership Package. This is not about mitigation. This is about adaptation, about resiliency in the state, regional, and local policies. SB 246 will confirm this body's commitment to considering adaptation and resiliency policies when planning the impacts of climate change. While reducing greenhouse gas emissions is a critical step to avoiding the worst impacts, the state needs to take action now to address some unavoidable impacts from long-term greenhouse gases already changing the Earth's environment. If we cut out all the greenhouse gas emissions today, we would still have to adapt and change to the changes that are occurring in our environment. The costs associated with greenhouse gas emissions and the climate change are staggering. The changes include the extreme heat, extreme storms. As chair of the Senate Environmental Quality Committee, I've conducted 2 oversight hearings on climate adaptation. We're going out to Merced and Los Angeles later. We've heard from regional boards and local leaders and nonprofits This bill is addressing some of the important issues that have been raised by them. We'll continue to work on the language in the Assembly, and I urge an aye vote.
Thank you, Senator Wieckowski. Members, any debate or discussion? Seeing none, Secretary, please call the roll.
Allen? Aye. Anderson? No. Bates? Bell? Aye. Berryhill? Block? Aye. Cannella? De Leon? Fuller? No. Gaines?
Aye.
Aye. Galgiani? Aye. Glazer? Aye. Hall? Aye. Hancock? Hernandez? Aye. Hertzberg? Aye. Hill? Aye. Hueso? Aye. Huff? Jackson? Aye. Lada? Leno? Leyva? Aye. Liu? Aye. McGuire? Aye. Mendoza? Aye. Mitchell? Aye. Monning? Aye. Morlock? No. Morrell? Wynn? No. Nielsen? Pan? Aye. Pavley? Aye. Roth? Aye. Runner? No. Stone? No. Vidak? No. Wieckowski? Aye. Wolk? Wolk, aye.
Secretary, call the absent members, please.
Bates? No. Berryhill? Cannella? De Leon? Hancock? Huff? Lada? Leno? Morrell? No. Nielsen?
Ayes 23, noes 9. Measure passes. Members will now move to file item 106. Senator Jackson, you're prepared to bring this measure forward? Sure. Secretary, please read.
Senate Bill 379 by Senator Jackson, an act relating to land use.
Senator Jackson.
Thank you, Mr. President and colleagues. Climate change, as I think, are coming to recognize, is one of the foremost challenges of our time, and we all know that California has become a leader in mitigating the effects of climate change by developing a strong program to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. But much more work needs to be done by state and local agencies and governments to adapt to the effects of climate change that we're already experiencing. SB 379 focuses on efforts at the local level. Now, currently, there is no requirement in law that local governments consider climate adaptation as part of their general plan process in planning for the future. This measure would help solve that problem by requiring that local governments update the safety element in their general plans to include a vulnerability assessment and climate adaptation strategies. Updates will not be required until the next time they're required to update their local hazard mitigation plans, which many local governments have already done, beginning in January 2017. So at the point in time that they have to update their existing local hazard mitigation plans, they will have to include climate adaptation in that process. Now, if they, the bill specifies information they would need to collect and would require them to establish goals, policies, and implementation measures on how they plan to adapt to climate change. It would also allow local governments to take advantage of work that's already been done so they don't have to reinvent the wheel. For example, many communities have already prepared a local hazard management plan, which is actually required by FEMA for locals to receive federal funding. Provisions in the bill would allow locals to attach that document or a similar climate adaptation plan and incorporate it by reference if it meets the requirements that we've set forth in the bill. This will save time, money, and effort. The bottom line is that climate adaptation is real. Changes are taking place. We need our local agencies to adapt to them. And this bill is sponsored by the California Fire Chiefs Association, the Local Governments Commission, the Bay Conservation and Development Commission, the California League of Conservation Voters, Environment California Sierra Club, and others. And I would indicate that we are working with the business community on this as well. We are continuing to identify ways that we can hone this down, clarify it so that everybody is on the same page, working to address a problem that we are all having to deal with going forward. And with that, I would ask for your aye vote.
Thank you, Senator Jackson. Members, any debate or discussion? Seeing none, Secretary, please call the roll.
Allen? Aye. Anderson? Bates? No. Bell? Aye. Berryhill? No. Block? Aye. Canella? No. De Leon? Aye. Fuller? No. Gaines?
No.
No. Gaggiani? No. Glazer? Hall? Hancock? Hernandez? Aye. Hertzberg? Aye. Hill? Aye. Wesso? Aye. Huff? Jackson? Aye. Lada? Leno? Leyva? Aye. Liu? Aye. McGuire? Aye. Mendoza? Aye. Mitchell? Aye. Monning? Aye. Morlock? No. Morrell? No. Wynn? No. Nielsen? Pan? Aye. Pavley? Aye. Roth? Runner? No. Stone? No. Vidak? Wykowski? Aye. Wolk? Wolk, aye.
Secretary, please call the absent members.
Anderson, no. Glazer? Hall? Aye. Hancock? Huff? Lada? Leno? Nielsen? Roth? No. Vidak? No.
Secretary, please call the absent members.
Glazer? Hancock? Huff? Lada? Leno? Nielsen?
Senator Jackson moves the call. Members, we're making good progress. I think we've passed 3 bills in the last 15 minutes, so we're off to a good pace. Let's move to file item 67. Senator Leyva, are you prepared to bring this measure forward?
Ready.
Great. Secretary, please read.
Senate Bill 398 by Senator Leyva, an act relating to non-vehicular air pollution.
Senator Leyva.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good afternoon, members. I am very excited to bring SB 398 to you today. This bill will help a group of folks that we talk a lot about, small businesses up and down the state of California. SB 398 will allow these small businesses and disadvantaged communities to access cap and trade monies. As we all know, if you are a big company or corporation, you have people who can do this and find this information for you. If you are a small business, you may not have someone who can do that for you. This bill will allow them to reach out to the EPA, speak with one person, and find out how they too can participate in the cap and trade program. I urge an aye vote.
Thank you, Senator Leyva. Members, any debate or discussion? Seeing none, Secretary, please call the roll.
Allen? Anderson? No. Bates? Bell? Aye. Berryhill? Block? Aye. Canella? Aye. De Leon? Fuller? Gaines?
Aye.
Aye. Gaggiani? Aye. Glazer? Aye. Hall? Aye. Hancock? Hernandez? Aye. Hertzberg? Aye. Hill? Aye. Wesso? Aye. Huff? Jackson? Lada? Leno? Leyva? Aye. Liu? Aye. McGuire? Aye. Mendoza? Aye. Mitchell? Aye. Monning? Aye. Morlock? Morrell? No. Wynn? Aye. Nielsen? Pan? Aye. Pavley? Aye. Roth? Aye. Runner? Stone? No. Vidak? Aye. Wykowski? Aye. Wolk? Wolk, aye.
Secretary, please call the absent members.
Anderson we have as no. Allen? Aye. Bates? No. Berryhill? De Leon? Aye. Fuller? No. Hancock? Aye. Huff? Jackson? Aye. Lada? Leno? Morlock? No. Nielsen? Runner? No. Berryhill, aye.
Ayes 29, no 7, measure passes. Secretary, if we could please lift the call on file item 106.
Glazer. Hancock. I. Huff. Lotta. Leno. Nielsen.
Ayes 21, noes 14, measure passes. Members, let's now move to file item 85. Senator Block, are you prepared to bring this measure forward? Secretary, please read.
Senate Bill 758 by Senator Block, an act relating to climate change.
Thank you,
Block.
Mr. President. SB 758 is an attempt to better understand and forecast precipitation patterns to provide a science-based approach to water collection and flood control in California. SB 758 requires the Department of Water Resources to research the causes and effects of atmospheric rivers and to take all actions within its existing authority to capture water generated by atmospheric rivers in order to increase the supply and reliability of water resources in the state and to operate reservoirs in a manner that improves flood protection. Atmospheric rivers are a weather phenomenon responsible for 30 to 50% of California's precipitation in just a handful of days each year, and they have historically broken about 40% of the state's droughts since 1950. Now, when you think of atmospheric rivers, think of a Pineapple Express. It's a drenching rainfall that comes from a river of moisture that travels from the Pacific to California. This river of moisture is about 250 miles wide and holds about 10 times the moisture of the Mississippi River at its mouth. So we're talking huge moisture, huge precipitation events. Now, at this point, we can't always predict when these atmospheric rivers are heading our way. They often miss the California coast because of different pressures in the atmosphere. What this bill does is it provides for California's scientists, UC and other scientists, to study these rivers, do the research, so that we can now know when these moisture events are coming. And as a result, we can improve our ability to capture the water when it falls, and more importantly, we can avoid things like we're doing now in parts of Northern California, which is dumping water when we get into the rainy season. We dump water from our reservoirs because we fear flooding, even though there's no rain that's coming in this drought. We're dumping perfectly good potable water. So what this bill will let us do is it'll let us also predict when there's not heavy moisture on its way to maintain the level of the reservoir we have. With the severe drought condition that we're currently facing, it's critical to use the science we have to better predict the precipitation patterns and make intelligent water management decisions. SB 758 has no opposition. It's supported by the Sonoma County Water Agency, the Orange County Water District, and the Bay Area Flood Protection Association. The bill's received unanimous and bipartisan support in Senate Natural Resources and Water Committee, and I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Thank you, Senator Block. Members, any debate or discussion? Seeing none, Secretary, please call the roll.
Allen. I. Anderson. I. Bates. I. Bell. I. Berryhill. I. Block. I. Cannella. I. De Leon. I. Fuller. Gaines. I. Galgioni. I. Glazer. I. Hall. I. Hancock. I. Hernandez. I. Hertzberg. I. Hill. I. Wisso. I. Huff. Jackson. I. Lotta. Leno. Leyba. I. Liu. I. McGuire. I. Mendoza. I. Mitchell. I. Monning. I. Morlock. Morrell. Wynn. I. Nielsen. Pan. I. Pavley. I. Roth. I. Runner. Stone. I. Vidak. I. Wykowski. I. Wolk. Wolk, aye.
Secretary, please call the absent members.
Fuller. Huff. Lotta. Leno. Morlock. I. Morrell. I. Nielsen. Runner. Huff, aye.
Ayes 35, no 0, measure passes. Members will now move to file item 101. Senator Wolk, Secretary, please read.
Senate Bill 367 by Senator Wolk, an act relating to agriculture and making an appropriation therefore.
Senator Wolk.
Mr. President, members, SB 367 will build upon and modernize the Sal Cannella Environmental Farming Act of 1995, and that is Anthony's father. California agriculture will be affected by climate change, but it can also help reduce greenhouse gas emissions. Research suggests that some agricultural practices not only reduce GHGs dramatically, but also may achieve ancillary benefits, such as water holding capacity, decreasing sediment erosion, and increasing crop yields. 367 will give the Department of Food and Agriculture the authority to more effectively provide these programs and resources to farmers to address climate change through a grant program to support these on-farm demonstration projects. It has received bipartisan support. No votes. I ask for your aye vote.
Thank you, Senator Wolk. Members, any debate or discussion? Seeing none, Secretary, please call the roll.
Allen? Aye. Anderson? No. Bates? Aye. Bell? Aye. Berryhill? Aye. Block? Aye. Cannella? Aye. De Leon? Aye. Fuller? Aye. Gaines?
Aye.
Aye. Galgiani? Aye. Glazer? Aye. Hall? Aye. Hancock? Aye. Hernandez? Aye. Hertzberg? Aye. Hill? Aye. Hueso? Aye. Huff? Jackson? Aye. Lara? Leno? Leyva? Aye. Liu? Aye. McGuire? Aye. Mendoza? Aye. Mitchell? Aye. Monning? Aye. Morlock? Morrell? No. Wynn? Nilsson? Pan? Aye. Pavley? Aye. Roth? Aye. Runner? Stone? Vidak? Aye. Wachowski? Aye. Wolk? Wolk, aye.
Secretary, please call the absent members.
Huff? Aye. Lada? Leno? Morlock? Wynn? Aye. Nilsson? Runner? Stone? Morlock, aye.
Ayes 33, noes 2. Measure passes. Members will now move to file item 89. Senator McGuire, Secretary, please read.
Senate Bill 788 by Senator McGuire, an act relating to coastal resources.
Senator McGuire.
Thank you so much, Mr. President, and I'm honored to be joined today with Senator Jackson. And California's coast is truly a worldwide wonder. Its natural beauty attracts 150 million visitors annually from across this great planet, and it is part of California's identity. We have spent billions to protect it, and it's a core part of California's economic engine. Coastal communities contribute $40 billion annually to our state's economy and provide nearly 500,000 important jobs. SB 788, the California Coastal Protection Act, seeks to protect our coast and economy by repealing a loophole that was embedded into legislation that was brought forward in 1994 to permanently ban offshore oil and gas drilling off of our great coast. This bill is also an important piece of the climate leadership package, as it's focused on helping drive the goal of reducing our state's petroleum use by 50% by 2030. It is now my honor to be able to introduce Senator Jackson, good friend and champion of the coast, to speak firsthand about the impacts of oil spills. I'd like to turn it over to Senator Jackson from Santa Barbara, who will share with us what she has seen on the ground from the devastating Santa Barbara spill, and to talk about the great importance on the Senate taking action today.